My name's J.C. McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Welcome. Thank you for joining me again. You have just tuned into For the Greater Good with Evelyn Richardson. And today my special guest is Abdul-Rahmaan I. And he is the Executive Director of My People Clinical Services. So I'm excited to have him here, and I have a lot of questions for him. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for joining me on this show. So I always start with tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, let's see. I am I'm a father, son. Of course, I'm the executive director of My People. I consider myself a dream chaser, Muslim. I'm all about just really helping people, period. There's so much to tell. I could tell you a million different things. I could tell you all types of stuff. But for the most part, I'm just somebody that cares a lot about our community and wants to make sure that our people are able to succeed.
And I definitely agree, because that's why when I was thinking of having guests, I was like, this young man, I see some of the stuff on Facebook that you always share. I remember seeing some of the print-ups in the Northern Agents about, dream chasers. You just mentioned it. And I was always impressed. And then once I had an opportunity to use your services for my family, tried to make it family, but me and my daughter, my daughter was there and I would go sometime. So I wanted to share that you're smack dab in the center of Hartford, and because we have all of this trauma, around right, where you're located, there's all of the trauma that we're experiencing, not only in the north end of Hartford, in the south end, west end, east end, and that you're smack dab right there. So first, I just would like, secondly, because we got to our first point, tell me about how did you come about that name, My People?
That is a great question.
I love that.
So I noticed on Facebook yesterday you had put My Peoples.
Yes,
and then it said My People under it.
Yeah.
So My People actually started. I'm also like an entrepreneur. So before I started My People, I was trying all types of businesses, just anything. I would create stuff, and then one day I just sat down with myself and said, what is something I know how to do? Like, what is it something that I really care about and I can actually make happen? So a lot of the other things I was trying to do was just like, I had a greeting card company, but I didn't know how to do greeting cards. But I have a master's in social work.
Okay.
And when I was in graduate school, my focus was on fatherhood. And the reason why is because I was a young father, and I thought that was a very important thing that, fathers needed support. So the name of my greeting card company was My People's Urban Cards.
Oh, so you did have a People's at some point.
So it was. And so when I first started My People, we were going to actually call it My People's with a Z.
With a Z.
Yeah,
Ooh.
but when I was talking to one of my friends, saying this is going to be the name of my agency, and the purpose of it was, when I say if I say you're my people, that means that you're my friend, that I care about you, that I'm going to try to help you. Right. And so in our community, when somebody says, "Oh, that's my people," it immediately has an impact to make you think, okay, that person is good.
That's right.
And so basically, when we were coming up with the name of the agency, I said it's going to be My People's. And then they said, maybe you should take the Z off. It'll look a little bit more professional, And so basically we dropped the Z, and then we started the agency with My People Clinical Service. And actually, this is our first logo on my little pen. You see all the different people.
I see it, yes.
And so the thought process was also that, so our mission is to enable my people to help your people so our people will succeed.
All right.
And so when I first started the agency, I was very, very, very African-American focused. Like I really was, the whole mission was about Black people. And so it took me about 6 months to be able to include everybody else into the My People mix.
That's all right.
In the sense of saying that, we need to help our people, like my people, but if you're not Black, and you work at my people, you have to have a care for your people and my people. And so I started understanding that our mission was bigger than just Black people. Right. And although we need a lot of support, but so we had to be able to have a mindset that we want to see everybody succeed. And if we actually are able to accomplish that in some way, it changes our environment, it changes our community, takes away some of the trauma you were talking about.
I agree. Wonderful. I like that. So you touched on it, that you're a culturally competent place of service. And I remember that when I had, I told you off screen, I shared with him how I had an incident in my household, siblings fight, you know, and they were at it, and I ended up having to go to juvenile court with my with one of my daughters, actually. And we were referred out to counseling, but they didn't give us a place to go, just suggested that, maybe, you take her and get some counseling for the situation. So I got on the phone and I was making some calls. I didn't know anything about you at that time, and I'm making some calls. And so I spoke with somebody out in West Hartford, I believe it was initially, and they were asking about the insurance and everything. So I was sharing, some of the dynamics with that, and it was like, well, there's a couple of places. This place that I had called, I guess rich people must have went to them. Right. So, so they were referring me to other places, and they talked about, well, this place over here is really good, but I'm not sure if they accept your insurance. But there's a wonderful place in the city of Hartford, and with that referral came, they are really good with working with families of color. Nice. And I was impressed because it wasn't a business of color that referred.
They said that. Nice, that's nice.
And we ended up at your place. So that spoke volumes when you have somebody on the outside out in West Hartford saying, well, this is a really good place right here if you want some quality care. Because there was others that they could have obviously referred me to. And they did, but then they put that tagline on your business. So that's good. So tell me a bit about us, a bit about your services.
So my people, so initially, like I said, we started off, all I had was fatherhood services. And so I'm one of those people that I listen. And so I'll go to a meeting with my fatherhood brochure that I created, and somebody will say, man, we need fatherhood services, but it's too bad y'all don't offer mentoring services. So we would add mentoring services. Then we added individual therapy and family therapy. Over the years, we probably had 30 different services. Now, at this time, some of the services were needed at the time, and they're not so much needed now, or the trends have changed. So now we focus primarily on supportive housing. So basically we work with young adults between the ages of 18 and 24 years old, and we provide them 24-hour support in their housing. We do individual and family therapy still. We currently have a fatherhood engagement service that we're offering to DCF, but also our group is also open to the community. If somebody, like there's a father that wanted to come to our weekly group on Thursdays at 3 o'clock. We have a permanency that we do, and this is basically trying to connect children that are involved with DCF back with their family members so that when they're done with DCF, they have family that they can connect with. We have our female empowerment program where we are going to 10 different Hartford schools and we provide groups. And then we also do a yearly female empowerment conference, usually in December. Am I leaving anything out? Oh, we do foster care recruitment services, specifically the training for DCF as well. So I believe that's it. That's what we do right now.
That's a lot.
So, yeah.
And you do the annual father-daughter dance.
Oh, of course. Yeah, we have the daddy-daughter dance every year, right around Father's Day. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice. So so you mentioned something because you touched on a lot of services where you're able to connect with the Department of Children and Families. Is that how it goes, or Families and Children?
Children, DCF. Yeah.
Okay. Children and Families. So for someone like me, who don't have maybe DCF involvement, and thank goodness they're sending children to, you know, businesses like yours. Say I don't have any DCF involvement, so that referral can't be made, because usually when DCF refers a child, they also take care of the tab.
Yes.
So how could I walk into your services if I need you?
So we have a sliding fee scale. We also accept Husky insurance.
Okay.
We haven't gotten into accepting other insurances, but I mean, most of the time, one of those two things work for families. We, you know, with the sliding fee scale, we work with your budget. So therefore, you're not paying something that's outside of your, you know, your ability, and so you can still be able to receive support and services. The only services, so let me clarify though, like, so that goes specifically for like our individual and family therapy. Somebody could be in our female empowerment program for free because the school would have paid for it, so it's not something they have to pay for. Also, we have a manology program, which is like the other side of female empowerment. That's in the school system as well. And like I said, if a father wanted to come to our group that we have on Thursdays at 3, they're more than welcome to come to that group for free. No, we're not charging them for that because we already get paid. So we actually just opening it up. Last week I was out. I do this other thing called Ice Cream for a Dream. So I give out ice cream for dreams.
I had that down there. So go ahead, touch on that.
And a father came up and he said, you know, I said, what's your dream? And he just said he wanted to spend more time with his children. Then he mentioned that, you know, 2 weeks ago his daughter had been murdered. Then another father, his friend, came up and said, yeah, my son was died too. He was 5 years old. And so I said to him, you know, we have to be able to open it up to the community. I told him, you guys are more than welcome to the group. We're talking about dreams, but it's like, you know, of course, I have to always keep my social work hat on because, like you mentioned, the trauma that is in our community is everywhere. And so we have to be cognizant and aware for those services. So, you know, what we try to do is, you know, we're a business, but we don't try to be so in a business where we don't help our community and do something. If somebody needs help and they don't have Husky for some reason or don't have anything, we can still work with them. We can figure out a way to work it out.
I remember this was years, maybe about 8 or 9 years ago. I was on the board of directors for Community Health Services, and they paid for us to do a retreat with. I'm gonna come back to you with that thought because we're gonna take a break. We have some promotional stuff to share with you.
See, time goes, like you said.
Yes.
Yo, I went all the way up to the 12th grade, you know, and I was skipping school. I was selling. I was out there doing bad things because I thought I could just get the fast way. My aunt knew. She came busting at me, came hitting, knocking me upside the head, telling me, you know, to stay in school because they told her, they called in. Parents, you know, you got to keep on top of your kids because at the end of the day, they got to stay in school for the future for y'all and your family to grow. Stay in school, it's a big deal.
Hello, thank you for tuning back in. But for those of you who are just tuning in, today I have with me the Executive Director of My People Clinical Services. His name is Abdul-Rahmaan I, and we'll jump back in. I was about to share, because you talked about, what we call, what you were mentioning before we went on break, was heart services. They aren't what's going to keep the business open,
right?
Because you have to pay the bills. You got to cover the overhead. Yeah. But then there's some services where you see that there's a need, and you do your best to try to fit in and cater to those needs. And when I went to Hartford Foundation for Public Giving for their retreat that we were doing as board directors, at that time the clinic had so many heart services that they were drowning.
Right. Yeah, it happens.
And we were, being trained on that aspect to be able to find the balance. And as much as it might hurt you, some things have to, go so that the business can thrive.
Right.
But it's good to hear, so going back to you, that there are some in there, and that you're finding a way to make it work for the community. So that's wonderful. So tell me something about your education.
Okay. Well, I have a bachelor's degree in psychology from Tougaloo College in Mississippi. It's a historically black college in Mississippi. And I have a master's degree from Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia, another historically black college.
All right. You was doing it, huh? Yeah. All right. So tell us about your family. I see you with your beautiful wife and stuff.
Yeah, I have a wife, 3 children, Amina, Amira, and Amir. And of course, my wife is a big part of what we do with My People.
Wonderful.
I personally believe that without her support, My People probably would have gone under a long time ago.
I probably agree.
Yeah,
because
it's true.
Wives are important.
Yeah, well, not just that. She does. I'm really good. Like, I can talk all day.
Okay.
But she's like, the person that deals with billing. She does, payroll and stuff that I couldn't do that. I'm not interested in that.
You would have been sunk.
Yeah, we would have been sunk. But also the initial support too. So I talk about dreams all the time, and so when you have a dream, if you don't have the right people to support you, the dream can dissipate very easily. So when I told my wife that I was going to start My People, she was like 3 or 4 months pregnant with our daughter, and she didn't miss a beat. She could have easily said, like, you can't leave your job right now because we need insurance, we need money, we need something. But I think that she believed that I wouldn't allow us to go down. Like, I was going to do everything I could. And so I felt like this was an opportunity. I don't usually tell this story, but before I started My People, I was going to go into business I thought I was going to go into business with another person. Okay. So we went to this big meeting, and it was with the insurance company. So we went to this meeting, and before we went to the meeting, we were like partners walking in the door. And the meeting went so well, when we came out the meeting, all of a sudden, the person was saying how, because I didn't have, I'm not a LCSW, so I'm not a licensed clinical social, but I'm just an LMSW. Okay. And so he would need to be the lead, and I would have to go under him because of that. And at the time, I wasn't looking to be, like under anybody. I was really starting to feel like I got to do something on my own. I got to make my own way in this world. And so this was, like a thing that catapulted me into saying, I just got to go out and just try something and maybe it'll happen or not. And so if my wife would have told me, like, I told her that the thing didn't work out with me and this guy, and then she said, we got this baby coming, and she would have said, don't try it right now. Maybe wait 6 months or a year or whatever. Maybe there's no My People. Right. But because she just said, let's go. And by the time she had our daughter, My People I had already made like a decision. My People grew very quickly. Yeah. So like when I first started My People in March 2005, it was just me. Then it was like, I talked to one of my friends who was an LCSW. So when you are an executive director, you could actually hire LCSWs all day, every day. Okay. And so I hired him. And then basically, at first we were doing a lot of work and the agency was growing. And then I had this idea. I was sitting down, I was saying, like, I'm working all these hours, 60, 70, 80 hours a week. You got to do that when you're starting a business. But I came up with the idea that if I had 100 staff, I wouldn't have to work as hard. And I realized, believe it or not, a lot of people, and this is just a little sidebar for business people.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was talking to my friend Von Allen last week, and he explained to me there's 3 different types of businesses. So the first one is like it's a self business, really, a small business that you have to be a part of it. Like if you're not there, the business doesn't succeed. Then the second kind of business is another kind of small business, but ultimately you've grown it where you have staff, and the staff can basically run the business without you being there. So My People is one of those businesses because 6 months into the business, I decided I'm going to hire a bunch of people and I'm going to allow them to be able to, I'll take a little bit off of all the work they do. That's how I'll get paid, and they'll do a lot of the work. And that was a great idea. So by the end of 2005, I had over 100 staff. None of them were full-time at the time, but I had people that were doing mentoring, therapy, fatherhood, all types of stuff. And all I had to do was go out, go to meetings, set up different things. Yeah. The third kind of business is an investor. Okay. And so basically where you don't get involved in the business at all, you just give them some money and then hopefully that business succeeds. Okay. So just a little sidebar for the business people.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I'll keep all of that in mind.
Yeah.
So I want to get back to the Ice Cream for Dreams. How does that operate? So they share the dreams. Where does the ice cream come in?
So, okay, so the real organization is called the Dream Support Network. So the Dream Support Network, what we do is we do workshops, we do motivational living, so we try to show people like this is how you live your dreams. We so then one day we're trying to figure out how do we get more people to engage in the workshops and seeing what we're doing so that they can be able to live the life of their dreams. And we said, we're having a meeting, and basically, ice cream came up. Ice cream rhymes with dream. Ice cream dreams, ice cream for a dream. So then also we had an idea. You're gonna go out, we're gonna rent a truck, we're gonna go out all over Hartford, we're gonna give out ice cream if people tell us their dream. This will let them know about us. So, we went out, we did it. On that day, we gave out about 700 ice creams. We got 700 dreams. What we found out on that day is that most people don't know how to dream. And the reality is that somehow we're being taught not to dream. We're being taught to get a job. So the average person, they come up to the truck and they say, my dream is to be a doctor. My dream is to be a lawyer. My dream is to be a basketball player, football player. Now, these aren't bad dreams.
No,
but if it's almost like the way I see Ice Cream for a Dream is that I'm giving you an opportunity to basically tell me anything you want. Like the world is your oyster. It's all out here. And the average 90% of the people that come up to the truck say a job. And so after that first day, I was like, man, what's wrong with everybody? How come nobody said they want to travel the world? How come nobody said they want to be a millionaire? How come nobody said they want to invent something that cures cancer? Whatever. And so I said, maybe I need to keep doing it. So, a few months later, I got my own truck, a little rickety truck. And I kept doing it. And still, people still said the same thing. So then one day I was coming up with an idea that I have to let people know about the different types of dreams. So I developed a list of 10 different types of dreams that everybody should have. And so we started off with, an educational dream. Everybody should have an educational dream. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean school. So, like now, my educational dream is to learn how to scuba dive.
All right.
Right? And so, for somebody else, it might be to learn to speak Spanish. Somebody else, it might be to go get on the honor roll. So, it could be school. So, educational dream, your dream job, of course, you still. Now, this is the interesting thing. Most people tell me a dream job, right? But it's not really their dream job.
Okay, explain that.
So they come up to the truck, they say they want to be a doctor, but they don't really want to be a doctor. It
they
just
want
sounds
the money.
good. No, it sounds good, but they don't like think about it. When you think about a job, your dream job could be anything.
Mine would be laying on the beach writing a book.
Okay, right? But the average person never really gets deep into it and says, if I had a dream job, like my dream job would be to be on, I have my own television show where I go out and do Ice Cream for a Dream, and then when people tell me good dreams, we go do that. That's my dream job, right? No, so then you gotta have an entrepreneurial dream because you're a dream chaser, you gotta have your own business. Travel dream, adventure dreams, family and relationship dreams, right? Philanthropy dreams, materialistic dreams, entertainment dreams. So now it really gives you more of a rounded look at your life, because that's what dream chasing is all about. It's really about your life. And people don't, I think most people don't realize how precious and how quickly life goes by. You know, I used to have kidney failure. So for 2 years, 2.5 years, I used to had to go to dialysis 3 times a week for 3 hours. And so when you have time like that, to be able to think about, like, man, I wish I could be outside doing something or playing or doing whatever. I was, you know, and so you think about your dreams and what you want out of life. And I think most people just go about life and never think about what they really want. And so they miss it because of the lack of dreams. So Ice Cream for a Dream is like an opportunity to express your dreams. I hope that people like actually watch this, and the next time they come up, they tell me something amazing, because you know we hear about 10,000 dreams a year, and that means that 9,000 are jobs.
Wow, that says a big thing. Wow. You know, and it's really important, you know, because when I first read it, I was like, you know, this is really cool. Because when I think about, you know, even at my age, you know, I'm 52, so I've lived for quite a little bit. But I think about most of the things that kind of transpired and evolved in my life, they were based out of my dreams.
Of course they were.
And speaking them, or, you know, or regurgitating on them all the time. And it's amazing because some of the things that I've dreamed for were preposterous. You know, I've never thought that they would ever happen. I remember, you know, thinking about, you know, seeing somebody on a motorcycle and saying, you know, I want to ride a motorcycle and I want to be doing this. And then 10 years later, I'm in the motorcycle shop with my cousin and wow, I'm buying a motorcycle. And I look back and say, but I was dreaming about that
of course you were.
For a few years. So we're going to take a break right here and we're going to get back. We're getting some good stuff here with the Executive Director of My People Clinical Services, Mr. Muhammad here. We'll be right back.
Nice ballpark here.
Real nice.
What do you think? They'll let us play a couple games here?
Who we gonna play?
What's up, you guys lost? Just wondering, Hartford brave enough to play HPD in here for a couple games?
You know that's not the world's biggest Dunkin' Donut.
You know there's no lost kittens in there either, right? We don't want to be here all day. You guys are short-staffed, you got to fill shifts.
Ain't no rules.
Calm down, guys, calm down. Despacito. Let's play for Julito and let the best team win September 23rd.
Get your popcorn.
I started skipping school at the age of 7. My mom didn't realize until she actually went to go pick up my notes. And she realized I was getting left back. After that, I started hanging out with the wrong crew. I ended up in jail 3 times. Parents, what I'm trying to say is keep on top of your kids. Make sure you call, make sure you do what you gotta do. You know, parents, school is important. It's a big deal.
Welcome back. We're going to jump right back in here because I've been hearing some good stuff. So talk to me about that. We were talking about the law of attraction.
Yes.
So tell me something about that.
So the law of attraction is pretty simple. It's like basically like attracts like. So if you are talking about like you just said, a motorcycle, right? I want to get a motorcycle. You start thinking about it all the time. You see yourself on a motorcycle in your mind. You're dreaming about motorcycles, right? More than likely, you're going to draw yourself to be getting a motorcycle. The same experience you had, I had the same thing. You had to get a motorcycle. That's the other thing about dreams. It's not like that thing. It's a process, because to be able to drive a motorcycle, you got to go to a motorcycle class, right? And so I had to go get my license. And the thing is, I drive a Can-Am Spider. So the Can-Am Spider, it has paddle shifters, so you don't have to change the gears with your feet.
Oh, really?
No, you just pop, 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 easy. But the point is that to get to drive my Can-Am, I had to learn how to do the foot stuff. And so there's a process to dreams. To get to the end, you have to be able. So when you are thinking about it, feeling good about it, all of that starts drawing into your life the things that you want. And so people that are having a bad day, a bad moment, a bad life, they need to start changing the way they think about life. They need to be more positive. They need to engage themselves in the things that they really want. I really believe that, I just said, if in school we started teaching our children how to dream, how to be able to bring the law of attraction into their life. This is not like some fancy stuff. We're talking about energy. Right. That's all this is. This is energy, right?
And we all live in energy.
Energy, right? So it's all about that energy. If you bring the energy, Stan over there has my favorite movie on the wall, The Matrix, right?
Oh, his too.
I know it is. I know it is. So the Matrix is real to me. We are all like Neo, and we can unlock different parts of ourselves if we have a certain belief. And it's not like a belief of something crazy. It's just saying like, yo, how do I become a better me? How do I become a better person? And then also realizing that, like when we were talking about the 10 type of dreams, I purposely made number 6 family and relationships, right? Because the first 5 are all about you, and then it's about other people. The last one is usually philanthropy. That's about other people. And so it's recognizing that if you help other people with their dreams and their life, usually it has a positive impact on your life. The name of your show is For the Greater Good, right? You could have called it anything in the world, but when you put something out there like, we're gonna do something for the greater good, that means that I get the greater good, you get the greater good, everybody gets the greater good. So therefore, it's a positive thing. I'm sure that positive is coming to your life just by the ideas that you're putting out here in your show.
Wonderful, thank you. So we're at our last segment of this, and I certainly want to hear your stance on the youth violence in the city of Hartford. Well,
I think that youth violence in Hartford, all over our country, it's a sad thing. It's really something that I wish that we could figure out a better way to prevent, right? But I keep trying to, each time you hear about these stories, I keep trying to figure out, like, putting myself in the mindset of saying, like, well, what could we have put in that young person's mind that was different to be able to make them not want to take somebody's life or, be in that kind of situation. And so what I realize is that, I go to a lot of places like, the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club. So we can't say like that the places are there for them, but there's a gap. And I think that I saw this post so this is on social media. So I saw this post the other day. This guy was talking about how when you come from an urban community and you listen to like rap music, the rappers and stuff become your role models. And so they talk about drugs and they talk about, all this fancy stuff. And so so somebody like me, right? I moved to Connecticut. I live in West Hartford. So I can disconnect from the rap music because I'm in West Hartford. We're like whistling walking down the street, right? But if you actually live in the environment where that's real and then you hear it it's the same thing we're talking about dreams. It's the law of attraction.
The law of attraction.
It's the same thing because it becomes your reality. So it's nothing to shoot you because it's always in your mind. Wow. So what we've got to do overall is put something else in their mind. We got to let them know how valuable life is, how great it is to get out of Hartford and go see something else. Go somewhere else. Yesterday, I took a group of kids to White Plains, New York. That's where I'm originally from. We went up there to do ice cream for a dream for one person.
Whoa.
So we drove all the way to New York in the rain to do ice cream for a dream for one person. Wow. So one of my classmates, she has a daughter who has cerebral palsy. And so a few months ago, she graduated from high school, and we talk on Facebook. And so basically I said, we're going to come up there and do ice cream for a dream. We didn't know it was going to rain yesterday. But the guys I work with summer youth employment, we drove up there. We went over to her house. We talked about cerebral palsy, things I didn't know anything about. and then Ice Cream for a Dream. These young men that I went with there yesterday, great kids, by the way, Sam, Key Wayne, and Bijan, great young men, but they are being exposed to things that make their minds think about positive stuff. So when you're in positive, you don't have time for negative. And so what we've got to do is we've got to do more to infuse positive into the lives of our children. Because the more we can, then they don't get caught up into all the violence and stuff. They realize your life is as valuable as my life, you know? So that's my thought on it. I don't know if that answered the question.
Yes, it does. It does. So we have a few minutes left, and I certainly don't want to miss giving you an opportunity to share your services with whoever is viewing now and maybe viewing later. So tell us where we can find you, how we can get involved.
Yep. Straight to the camera. Which camera? This one over
Right in
here?
front of
This
you.
one over here. Okay, My People Clinical Services is located at 111 Gillett Street here in Hartford, Connecticut. We can be reached online at www.mypeople-ct.com, or you can call us at 860-656-0450, or email us at info@mypeople-ct.com. My People offers individual and family therapy. My People offers fatherhood groups. My People offers female empowerment programs. And if there's something else that you think we might need to offer, why don't you stop by our office and ask to speak with me? My name is Abdul-Rahmaan I, and I'll be glad to help you. Thank you.
Wonderful. So you heard it from Abdul-Rahmaan I, the Executive Director of My People Clinical Services. Good stuff. So anybody, if you're out there and you're looking for some type of services, I know that, you know, it was hard for me to understand, but even when I was younger, when we, you know, felt as though somebody in the family was just a little bit off or whatever, you know, we would throw around the word crazy, you know, very, you know, freely, not realizing that, you know, I certainly didn't know as a child that mental health issues actually existed in households. I figured that if you were sick, you were probably in the hospital. But no, there's many of us, myself included, who can use services like this. And I actually really would love for you all and myself, if we need these services, especially in light of the trauma that we're experiencing. Because if something happens in your family and you're my next door neighbor or you're my cousin or friend, 9 times out of 10, it impacts my family or myself as well. So we have these services in our community right there on Gillett Street. Just reach out, find out, just go for a visit. I don't know, maybe ask to sit down and see if it might be something that you can utilize. But I actually believe 100%, 200% that we need to have somebody that can hear us out and also maybe help direct us and get us into that place where we start attracting those things that can uplift us as a community. And I believe that My People Clinical Services can be that starting ground for you all. You have a blessed, prosperous, and joyous day. Thank you for joining us here on accesstv.org. Have a blessed day. Thank you.
You're welcome.